Good morning, students. Welcome to the class of English 2. First, you tell me, am I audible to you? Am I audible to you, student? Okay, thank you very much. Now, my dear student, please open your book, chapter number, and come to the chapter number 4. Chapter number 4, the chimney sweeper. The chimney sweeper. Clear? Yes. Well, you said. Now, come to the page number 30, chapter number, the chimney sweeper. Chimney Sweeper is a poem which has been written by William Black. So before starting, I would like to tell you in brief about William Black. William Black was born in 1757 and he was died in 1827. He was an English poet and painter. Black first printed work published here was poetical sketches. What was his first printed work? Black's first printed work was poetical sketches, which was published in 1783. He published his most popular collection, Songs of Innocence, in 1789. 1789. It is a poetry collection written from child's point of view of innocent wonderment and spontaneity. It includes poems like Little Boy Lost, Little Boy Found, The Lamb, and in 1794, he published Song of Experience, which contains many poems in response to the ones from Song of Innocence, suggesting ironic contrast as child matures and learns of such concepts as fear and envy. Clear? Now here, the chimney sweeper. This poem has been written in 6 stanzas. This poem has been divided into 6 stanzas and a quatrain. What will see here? The poem is divided into 6 stanzas, clear stand, and each quatrains, 4 lines, stanza of 4 lines. Each quatrains and 2 couplets. What will say? 2 couplets. Therefore, the rhyme scheme of each stanza is A, B, B. Clear? Here in the poet, here in this book, some pictures is given right now of a small picture of small children doing different kind of work, right? You can see. So here, the theme of this poem is hardship and child labor. Hardship and child labor. According to the encyclopedia, child is here. The child labor is employment of children in a work that deprives children of their of the work that what will say friends, the children in a work that deprives children of their childhood, clear, and interferes with their ability to attend regular schools, and that is mentally, physically, socially, right now, are morally dangerous and harmful. This is now here, this is exploitative. The poet has described that this is exploitative by many here. What will say, sir? Dangerous and harmful, and this practice is considered this practice is considered as exploitative by many international organizations. The legislation across the world prohibit stops the child labor. Now see the stanzas. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in suit I sleep. There's little Tom Baker who cried when his head, that curl like lamb's back was shaved. What was shaved? So I said, hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know that the suit, here the black powdery substance, cannot spoil your white hair. And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he heard such a sight that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. Now move to the next stanza. And by came an angel who had bright key, and he opened the coffin and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they run, and wash in a river and shine in the sun. Now see the next stanza. Then, then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon the clouds, sports in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father and never want joy. Now see the last stanza. And so Tom awoke and he rose in the dark and got with our bags and our bruises here. What is the bruises to work? What will say here? Bruises to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. Now, come to the first stanza. See the first stanza. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soot I sleep. Soot means you'll derive meaning is given in your book. A deep black powdery flaky substance that is produced when coal or wood etc. are burned. So you'll derive only this meaning. Black, what writes in? Black powdery substance, right? You'll write only black powdery substance, right, in meaning. Now, in the very first stanza, the poet William Black had described that the speaker of this poem is a young boy. The poet had described that the speaker of this poem is a young boy who is working as a chimney sweeper, right? And the child very young, the child very pathetically means very sadly, the child very sadly narrates his own story, how his mother died, right? How his mother died when he was very small. When the narrator was, or the speaker was very small, his mother died, right? When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my turn. Could hardly cry, weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in suit I sleep. Now see in the very first stanza, the poet had described the very pathetic condition of the child when he was very young, when he was very small. His mother died, and then this boy was sold by his father. His father sold this boy to the master sweep. The father, what happened is that after the death of this child, after the death of this speaker, his father sold him to a master sweep. Right now, master sweeps use these small young in sweeping the chimneys, right? See, friends, what happened after that? So when he was very young, his mother died, and his father sold him to a master sweep, right? When he was very, and the child was hardly able to pronunciate or speak, sweep, sweep, sweep. He was very small. He was not able to pronunciate sweep. At that time, he was sold by his father to a master sweep. Right now, so your chimney. Here, the child accepted that, and after that, when he was sold to a master chimney sweep by his father, he started sweeping. He said that, and for this, I sweep your chimney. I sweep your chimney, and I sleep. I sleep. The child did, and I sleep in the black powdery substance. Soot means black powdery substance. Now, here, now said, by this we understand the little boy was sold to a master slave and his life was dark. After that, when he was sold to a master slave, his life became very dark. He has no freeness. He cannot do any work according to his own will. Right? So he was helpless and he was forced to do the work according to the master slaves. Right? Now, and finally, where he slept. So the child here described that here, for that, and since he was sold by his father to the master sweep, he sweeps what sweeps our chimney, right? And he sleeps in the black substance, black powdery substance, right? In dirty area, right? Now see the second stanza. There's little Tom Decker who cried when his head, that curl like a lamb's back, was shaved, so I said, hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare and cut, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair. Now in the second stanza, you'll come to know the narrator is joined by even a smaller, even a younger child. Later on, he was joined by a younger child whose name was Tom. There's little Tom Decker who cried when his head, that curl like lamb's back, was shaved, so I said. Now later on, the speaker of this poem was joined by a younger child whose name was even a younger child than him. Right now, right? Whose name was Tom Baker. What was the name of the younger child? His name was Tom Baker, who cried. And this Tom, the small one, was joined. He later on he joined in chimney sweeping work, right? Right now. And he was crying. Tom Baker was crying. For what purpose he was crying? He said his curly hair was saved. Right now, his curly hair, like a lamb's back, was saved. When he joined the chimney sweeping work, his hair was saved. His hair was saved. So I said, hush, Tom. And when the speaker of the poem came to know, or the younger chimney sweep reported to him that, or when he was crying before him, he consoled. The speaker of the poem consoled him, reassures him not to worry about this, not to worry about his white hair, golden hair. What he said, that girl like lamb's back was saved, so I said, hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair. Here, later on, when the younger chimney sweeps joined him, and when his curly hair was saved, right? He started crying. When he started crying before the speaker of this poem consoled him by telling that no need of crying, no need of worrying about your hair. When your hair is shaved, now you are free from one problem, right? What kind of, you are free from danger? What kind of danger said? What was danger? The speaker of the poem reassures him, no need of being worried about your hair, right? Never mind it, for when your head's bare, here, what happened? You know that the suit cannot spoil. After the saving your hair, no need of being worried. Right now, no need of crying for that. You are free from the suit. Your white hair will be free from the black dirt, black powdery substance. Now this suit, this black powdery substance will not spoil your hair. So he suggested, he assures him, no need of crying for your hair. Right now, he told that no unnecessary or crying, no need of crying. After saving, you are free from the danger. Right now, your white hair will be not spoiled by the black suit, black powdery substance. Clear? Now move to the next. And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight that thousands of sheep, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. Now, in the third stanza, you will come to know here. Now, Tom Dacre, what will say? Tom Dacre was now comforted and calmed when the speaker of the poem reassures him, now you will be free from the dirt, and this black powder substance will not spoil your hair. So what after that, what happens when the Tom Dacre was comforted and calmed, calmed down. And so he was quiet. And that very night, at the same night, after that, after getting the consolatory word from him, he was comforted and calmed down. Right. And that very night, yes, Suhani Srivastav, unmute yourself. Yes, Suhani.
Sir, I want to ask that in the copy you have given the question answers.
Yes.
But chapter number 5, so I forgot to write the word meanings of that. So
Later
I have
on,
written
after writing questions answer beta, you can write word meaning. Clear?
And sir, which question we have to do in the copy, the exercise questions?
A and B. A and B. Okay. In revision, we will.
Sir, that I have done in the copy.
Okay, beta. Now mute yourself. Well. Okay. Now come to the next. And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight that thousands of sweeper, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffin. Coffin is a box in which dead body is kept. Right? What will say? Coffin is a box, but here you will derive coffin denotes, here the black coffin denotes the dark chimney. The black coffin here denotes dark chimney, right? And separately, you can write coffin. What write is a long narrow box in which dead body is buried or cremated. But here you will derive this coffin denotes to the dark chimney, to which chimney sweeps are confined. Now see, here Tom Dacre, after that, after meeting with the speaker, Tom Dacre was comforted and calmed down. And that very night, the same day, that night, as Tom was sleeping, he had a dream. He had such a sight. He had seen vision. He had a vision in his dream. What to say? He had a vision in his dream that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack. Here, the poet had described about thousands of chimney sweepers, including Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack. Maybe these chimney sweepers will be familiar with the speaker of the poem and the Tom. So these Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack were familiar in thousands of chimneys. Remember, these names are the Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack were familiar with Tom Dacre. what that thousand of sweepers. So in his dream, he saw thousands of chimney sweepers, including Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack. Were all of them locked up in coffins in black. He had seen in the dream that these thousands of chimney sweepers, including Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were locked up in coffins of black. Were locked in, you can say, what will write here? Locked in black chimney in which they were confined. Right now, they were. What will say? So here, black coffin denote to the dark chimney. Right now, to which chimney sweepers are confined. And separately, when they write that, one more meaning. Here you'll get that in the long, narrow box in which the dead body is. So here in the last line, the poet has described that here that all these chimneys, thousand of chimney sweepers, including Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were locked in black coffin. Were locked in black coffin. Now move to the next stanza. And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they run and wash in a river and shine in the sun. Now, my dear son, in this fourth stanza, you will come to know. Then in the night, in the dream, who came, son? Then in the dream, an angel with shining key, and by came an angel who had a bright key. So in the dream, then in the dream, an angel with a shining, what will say? Angel with a shining key came and opened all the coffins. And he opened the coffins and set them all free. So in the dream, he noticed, what he noticed, and then in the dream, an angel with a shining key, with a bright key, means with a shining key, came and opened all the coffins, right? All the coffins, and after that freeing all the chimney sweepers. Chimney sweep. What he did after? Now, in the dream, an angel came with a shining key, and what it did is unlocked, and he opened the coffins. He unlocked the coffins, right? And freeing all the chimney sweepers, Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they run and wash in a river and shine in the sun. Here in this line, the poet has described that then when the angel freed all the chimney sweepers, they started enjoying. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they run. Now, after that, when they became free, right? When they were unlocked by the angel, they started enjoying. They started jumping. Leaping is jumping, laughing, and running in the green plain. And wash in a river and shine in the sun. Here, in the last line, the poet had described that since in the beginning they were denied to enjoy in the beginning. Here, these chimney sweeps were denied to enjoy regular bath. So they were not getting chance to bath regularly. So they enjoyed seeing the river. They started bathing. In the river and shine in the sun, and they started basking in the sun. Now see once again here. So who came? And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain, leaping, laughing, they run and wash in a river and shine in the sun. Then in the dream, Tom Dacus saw an angel with a shining key came down and opened the open all the coffins, right? Open all the coffins, or you can say freed them from these dirty work, this chimney, what will say, son? This work, freed them from this kind of work. Clear? And when he freed them, what they did is when they started jumping, laughing, right? Enjoying, running here and there in the green plain, and they started enjoying bathing in the river, and what to say, started bathing, swimming in the river, and basking in the sun, in the light, in the sun. They were basking themselves. Now see the next. Then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise upon the clouds and sports in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father and never want joy. Never want joy. Now in the this sister, fifth sister, you'll find since it is a dream, these things were happening in the dream, since it is a dream, the child imagines that the chimney sweeper have left their belongings. The chimney sweepers have left their belongings, right? Their equipments like brush and other things for cleaning the equipments are for cleaning the chimney, right now. So here, since it is in dream, right now, the child imagines that the chimney sweepers have left their belongings behind, and they rise upon the clouds and sports in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father and never want joy. Now see, then naked and white. Naked means unclothed and white after the bath, right now. And all their bags left behind. What they were doing, what they are doing is that they were cleaning the black. They were cleaning the black of a dirt of the chimneys. So they were freed from this work. And they left their belongings behind, and they were unclothed and white, right? They rise upon, the poet has described that they rise upon the clouds and sports in the wind. When they became free from this kind of work, they started enjoying heavenly glory, So they rose upon the clouds and started playing in the wind. And the angel told Tom, after that, the angel who appeared in the dream told Tom that he would be, when he will be good boy, right? Then Almighty, then the God for his father and never want joy. Then when he will be a good boy, then God will take care of him as father. The God will take care of him as a father, and he will enjoy all the things in his life, right? And never want joy. Then God will take him to be then what he'll do is, then in the last line, the poet says that God would take him to be his own son, to be his own child, and he would have no regrets. No misery in his life. Now see the next one. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark and got up and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm. In the last stanza of this poem, The Chimney Sweeper, the poet has described, and so Tom awoke. And after that, the Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark. And that day, when they got up, it was when they got up, what happened? It was still dark when the chimney sweeper, when they got up from their sleep, it was still dark. It was still dark. It was still night, and got up with their and they get ready with their bags and their brushes to work. For what purpose? When they got up, it was still dark, right? And they get ready. They get ready with their belongings, with their bags, and with their brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, here the poet has described, since they got up earlier, it was still dark and it was morning. The morning was very cold that day, right now. And Tom was happy. The Tom was happy and he was feeling pleasant and warm, right? He was feeling very happy. So if all do their duty, here in the last line suggested that if all the member will do their duty, then there will be no need of being fear. There no need of fear of any harm. Okay. Yes. Vaishnavi, unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, on page number 41,
Yes.
complete this table. Fifth one, sickness. Sir, in this adjective sickness, adjective it can be sick or sickly also.
Sickly. Adjective write sickly. Okay. Sick you can write. Sick, sickly both you can write. Okay. Now the poem is clear, students. Now, you read the poem from the beginning. Vaishnavi Srivastav. After this, we'll complete one more exercise, which is like punctuation work. 2-3 sentences I had written on the board. Rest I will complete today. Okay. Vaishnavi, read the poem.
The chimney sweeper. When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in suit I sleep. There's a little Tom Dist who cried when his head, that curled like a lamb's back, was shaved. So I said, "Hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair."
Okay, now wait. Mute yourself. I will give chance to some other child. Varuna Lakmani, continue next two stanzas. Unmute yourself, Varuna.
Fine, sir.
Morning. Good afternoon. Okay, Vijay. Now continue next two stanzas.
And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight that thousands of creepers, Abe, Joe, Nat, and Jack, were all of them locked up in coffins of black. And by came an angel who had a bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down a green plain leaping, laughing they run, and wash in a river and shine in the sun.
Good. Mute yourself. Now next. Ridhima, unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Good afternoon. Now read next two stanzas.
Then naked and white, all their backs left behind, they rise upon clouds and sport in the wind. And the angel told Tom if he would be a good boy, he would have God for his father and never want joy. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark and got with our bags and our brushes to work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not fear harm.
Good. Well. Nabya Agrawal, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Now read the first two stanza of this poem, The Chimney Sweeper.
When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me while yet my tongue could scarcely cry. Weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in soup I sleep. There's little Tom Dark who cried, and when his head that curled like a lamb's back was shaved, so I said, "Hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know what." You know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair.
Good. Now
Sir, I
mute
want,
yourself. Yes. Tell. Unmute.
sir, in lesson 5, punctuation exercise, you have to write in book or copy.
No need of doing in book. In the book you can complete better. Only have
Okay,
to
sir.
punctuate. Only exercises you do in your notebook. Clear? Now mute.
Okay.
Yes, these girls. What's her name? Lavanya. Lavanya. Unmute yourself. Lavanya, unmute. Lavanya.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, beta. Now, read next two stanza.
Then naked and white, all their bags left behind, they rise
Okay,
upon.
third, listen. What were you doing? Third and fourth. Third and fourth.
Third and fourth. कौन सा वाला third and fourth?
Third and fourth.
एक मिनट पहले leave कर दो.
Your sisters, na? Okay. Lavanya. Okay, next. See. Well. Kaushiki Misra, unmute yourself.
Good morning, sir.
Good afternoon, beta.
And so he was quiet, and that very night, as Tom was sleeping, he had such a sight that thousands of sweepers, Dick, Joe, Ned, and Jack, were all of them locked up in the coffins of black. And by came an angel who had the bright key, and he opened the coffins and set them all free. Then down the green plain, leaping, laughing, they run and wash in a river and shine in the sun.
Good. Very good. Now mute yourself. Okay. Next one girl was asking. Yes, Janvi Nigam. Complete last two stanzas. Read last two stanzas.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Then naked and white, all their bags left behind. They rises upon clouds and sports in the wind. And the angel told Tom, if he did be a good boy, he have God for his father and never want joy. And so Tom awoke, and we rose in the dark and got with our bags and our dresses of work. Though the morning was cold, Tom was happy and warm. So if all do their duty, they need not be harmed.
Okay, good. Very good. Well, Akshat, unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, beta. Read first two stanza, and after this we'll complete the punctuation work. Okay. Yes.
When my mother died, I was very young, and my father sold me white, yet my tongue could scarcely cry, weep, 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 weep. So your chimneys I sweep, and in suit I sleep. There's little Tom Dick who cried when his head that curled like a lamb's back was shaved. So I said, hush, Tom, never mind it, for when your head's bare, you know that the suit cannot spoil your white hair.
Very good. Now, okay, you understand the poem, my friends? The poet had described the life of a young child in the 18th century in England. They used to employ the small children, young children in cleaning chimney, right? In sweeping chimney, right? So here the poet had described the hardship and child labor in this poem. So this, right, the theme of this poem is hardship, and child labor. Okay, send. Now we'll complete the punctuation work. Clear? Now see in your book, chapter number 5, last exercise. What is it, friends? Yes, punctuation. You can do directly in your book, or I have to write. You can do well. Okay, I'm going to write it. Good for you. You'll understand better. Now, then there will be no doubt. Now see. Up to third you have done. Now see the fourth one. Okay, see third again. Third. Aren't you ashamed? Aren't you ashamed? Right? You write in single inverted comma. Aren't you ashamed? The mother and the mother and clear at her. At her. Clear? Full stop. Again, aren't you ashamed? Ashamed to act like that, like that in front of the doctor, in front of the doctor, and then again it will punctuate with a single inverted comma. See, aren't you ashamed? You will put in single inverted comma, then the mother and full stop. Again, second statement, aren't you ashamed to act like that in front of the doctor? You will close this statement with a single inverted comma. Right, now see number 4. Number 4. She has had. She, what right here? She has had a fever for 3 days. Fever for 3 days, right? Comma close. Single inverted comma. Began the father. Began the father, right? Comma. Again, you write the statement in singular. And we don't know. Right. And we don't know what it comes. What it comes from. Comes. Full stop. My wife has given her things. Full stop. My wife has given her things, right? You know, like people do, like people do, but it don't do good. But it don't do no good. and there has been and there has been there has been a lot of sickness, a lot of sickness, right, around to start. So we thought, so we thought, I will written complete word, thought you would, you would better look her and tell us what is the matter and tell us what is the matter. Listen, and you will, yeah, you will close it with a single inverted comma. So check it again. You'll number 4. First statement, she has had fever for 3 days in single inverted comma. Begin the father, then again, and we don't know from here. Again from, you will put these words in single inverted from here and, right, I written here, and we don't know what it comes from. My wife has given her things, like people do, but it don't do no good. And there has been a lot of sickness around. So we thought you would better look her over and tell us what is the matter. Clear? So from here and you will go to the last. Clear? You will punctuate these words. Now I'm going to write number 5. Number 5. For heaven's sake. Number 5. For heaven's sake, right? Heaven's sake, I broke it. This one you write in single inverted comma, I broke in. Full stop. Clear? Don't call me a nice man. Single inverted comma. Don't call me. Don't call me a nice man. Man to her. To her. Clear? Full stop. I am here to look at, here to look at, right, her throat. Here, her throat, that's right, throat on the chance that she might have diphtheria, right? Diphtheria and possibly die of it. Close in single inverted comma. But that's nothing to her. But that nothing to her. her. Look here. Look here. You write in single inverted comma. I said to the child. I said to the child. We were here. Here. We are going to do. Going to look at your note here. You now say sense. Yes. You are old enough. Old. Now say old enough. Here to understand. Old enough to understand what I am saying. What I am saying here. Will you open here? Will you open it now by yourself? Yourself, or shall we have to open it for you? Open, now what to say? It for you. Full stop, you close with inverted, single inverted comma. See? Now say friends, number 5, for heaven's sake. You write in single inverted comma. I broke in, full stop. Then again, don't call me. Here you will put in single inverted comma. Don't call me a nice man to her. I am here to look at her throat on chance that she might have diphtheria and possibly die of it. From don't to of it, you will write again in single inverted comma. But that's nothing to her. Full stop. Look here and write in single inverted comma. I said to the child, full comma, and then after that, we are going to look at your throat. You are old enough to understand what I am saying. Will you open it now by yourself, or shall we have to open it for you? This part you write in single inverted comma. Clear, friends? Clear? Now, I have given the answer, you can match. In PDF, I have given all the answers, you can match it, friends. Yes. Now see number 6. Number 6. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. You write in single inverted comma. Clear? Oh, come on. You write in single. I coaxed. Comma. Just open your mouth wide and let me take a look. Again, this statement you write in single inverted comma. Look. Again, look, you write in single inverted comma. I said, opening both hands wide, comma, I haven't anything in my hands, just open up and let me see. So here, I haven't anything in my hands, just open up and let me see, write in single inverted comma. Now see number 7, both parents answered me together. After comma, rest statement you write in single inverted. No, she says her throat, don't hurt her. you'll write in single inverted comma. Number 8, well, you write in single inverted comma, I said, comma, then rest. Suppose we take a look at road first. You'll write in single inverted comma, I smiled in my best professional manner and asking for child's first name. I said, after I said, comma, come on, Matilda, open your mouth and let's take a look at your throat. From here, come on, Matilda, open your mouth and let us take a look at your throat. You write in single inverted comma. Clear, friends? Listen, I have given all the answer in PDF. You have seen, Baruna? You have checked? Baruna, unmute yourself. Beta, you have got the answer. Answer I have given in PDF. You can match all these exercises in your, from PDF you can match. Clear?
Yes.
You have seen, you have completed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, well, now mute yourself. Karan Malvi, unmute yourself. Yes, Karan, unmute yourself. He's not able to. Okay, Manya, beta, you have done all the exercises.
Yes, sir.
You have got all the answers of exercises also in the PDF I have given uploaded. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so you can, if there be any confusion, you can ask. Okay, in the next.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, my question is that, like here it is given in the word meanings of chapter 5, the use of force. Second one, profession, an abundance or large quantity of something. Is it necessary to write both?
No.
Can we
No.
write only one?
Chapter number 5 na beta.
Yes, sir. Page number
I told you
34.
to complete only these two exercises, section A and section B, page number 40. Section A and section B you will complete in your notebooks. Rest you will do in the book only. Okay.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about word meaning on page number 34.
Page
Like it
number
is given.
34. Yes. Word meaning you will complete beta in your notebooks. Clear?
Sir, in the word meaning of second one, word meaning after hyper, profession and abundance or large quantity of something. In that we can write only one also, that an abundance or any or large quantity of something. Anyone
An abundance or large quantity of something. An abundance you can write, a large quantity of something you can write. Anyone you can write. Okay.
Okay, sir.
When you are getting two meanings, you can write anyone. Clear?
Okay, sir.
So rest exercise you have done, beta. Now
Yes,
I'm going to end the session. Okay, thank you. Now mute yourself. Okay, send. Thank you very much.